Your Gitis is bad, so is mine, and today we're gonna fix it. So the Gitis is the most iconic freestyle catch. There's a lot of different kinds of Gitises, but all Gitises involved one arm catching it behind the opposite leg. And the most common Gitis is just a traditional jumping Gitis, and it's something that almost everybody does, but very few people do well. One of the unique things about the Gitis is that it's one of the only non-spinning catches that you want to set the disc off out to the side. So you don't want to use the center set that I recommend for most other catches. Instead, you really want to almost overset it out to the side, and you want to chase the disc down. So let's build our Gitis from the ground up, and we'll start with a standing variation of the Gitis called the Gitosis. So I'm gonna do a right-handed Gitosis, and I will start by planting my right foot, my non-catching foot, and then I'm gonna take my right hand, and I'm gonna be catching the disc underneath my left leg here. And I'm generally gonna be catching the disc around my knee, or if you're really flexible, you can go down closer to your ankle. And I'm not gonna set the disc quite as off to the side as I might for a jumping Gitis, but I'm still gonna give the disc a little bit of a side set. A lefty would look like this. So for our hands, start with this really wide catching hand position, and then kind of do a little bit of a wave, come down, and catch it down there. Once you feel comfortable with the Gitosis, you can start working on your Gitis. And when you start out, just work on your ugly Gitis. This is a Gitis with no form. Don't worry about setting it high. Don't worry about having a nice leg position. Just do whatever it takes to catch the disc. So for a right-handed Gitis, I'm gonna be jumping off my right leg, catching into my left leg, and landing on my left foot. So it's a really important 1, 2, 3. I'm jumping with the right, catching under the left, and landing with the left. And I really want this to be on my toes. I don't wanna be flat-footed. I wanna be up in like a boxer's position, jump off the right, catch it under the left. Once you've got your ugly Gitis, it's time to make it look better. Now, this is gonna be a do as I say, not as I do situation, because even after a decade of freestyle, I can barely Gitis. But there's a few things that I think are helpful. First, imagine that you're jumping over the disc. So you wanna be leaping well above the disc and catching it underneath you. You don't wanna just go to it like with your ugly Gitis, you wanna be leaping over it. The next thing to think about is stretching your back leg. So when you're doing a Gitis, it's easy to put all your focus on the front leg because that's the leg you're catching behind. But when you're in the air, try to stretch your leg and almost imagine you're trying to touch the ceiling with the tip of your toe. And there's a best way to do this and a cheater's way to do it. The best way to do this is to stretch your back leg right at the beginning of the jump and hold it all the way through to the end of the catch. But the cheater's way, if you're having trouble with that, is as soon as you catch the disc and you're coming down, try to just throw your back leg up at the last minute, just to give you a little bit more of an appearance of a stretched leg. The next thing to think about is how to get more height on your catch. And the best way to do this is to really lead with your knee before you start stretching your front leg. So as you're running, you kind of kick your knee up like you're trying to knee someone in the chin to give you the air and then fall back. So you kind of make a little bit of a semicircle in your Gitis. So I'm kind of running forward, I'm lifting my knee up, and once I'm in the air, I'm starting to lean back. So I'm going forward, I push my knee forward, and when I'm in the air, I kind of fall back. So without the disc, you can just kind of practice that. Don't worry about stretching your legs for the moment, just push with your knee. Another way to build momentum is to get your arms and hips involved. So when you're doing your run, if you're jumping off your right foot, right as you're starting to jump, you're gonna kind of throw your right arm back so that as you jump, you push your right arm forward, almost just like you're trying to punch someone as hard as you can, and you're gonna use that momentum to push you backwards and get your hand in a position for the catch. So you're running, you lean back with your right arm, you punch it forward into your Gitis catch. So the last thing, which is just to really re-emphasize, set it way off to the side. If you try to catch a Gitis right in the center, it's almost impossible. It's a lot better to just set it out, run it down, grab it. Okay, you know what you're doing. So this is your sweaty coda sponsored by Mickey Mouse. So when you're trying to jump over the disc, also think about jumping past the disc and kind of running through. So after I jump over, I jump out, and I should have so much momentum that it kind of forces me to run through. Another thing you want to try to do is to catch the disc on the way down, not on the way up. So when you set the disc up, try to jump so that you're moving up as the disc goes up, and once it's kind of at its peak, that's when you want to start turning your body out, and then on the way back down, that's when you want to catch it. Two other things. You want to watch out for Gitis thumb. So when you're going for your Gitis, make sure you reach all the way around behind your leg, because otherwise you're going to put your thumb into your leg and you can really hurt it. Second thing, you want to have Gitis butt. So if you're doing your Gitis right and you're really working on it, the next day you're going to wake up with a really sore behind. So if you have that, it means you're doing it right, and keep doing what you're doing. And it can help to practice the Gitis both sides so you don't have one butt bigger than your other. Oh, it was not even on, you dingus.